Hello everyone, welcome to the video. So as I promised, I'll be doing analysis of games suggested by my followers on Twitter and followers here in the comment section. I'll be doing it regularly from now on. This will be my very first open analysis of any game on YouTube. Um, this game was suggested by Mohak, and I also wanted to take up a game that is very fresh, and this was played today between G Phoenix from India and GOC from Philippines. So let's move on to the analysis part. We are gonna analyze the game from GE Phoenix perspective, and we'll be looking how they played the rounds both in the defense as well as the attack, and noting down the positives as well as the negatives. So let's just move on to the first round. Both the teams have opted for the same comp. It's a very classic comp with Jet as the single duelist and a single controller with KJ and Sage being there along with Sova. So let's just move on to the first round. Uh, Very good setup coming in from the defensive side. They're keeping pressure on both the extreme sides of the map, putting pressure on both the default areas, breaking the recon. Sage gets tagged here, still keeps up the pressure, still keeps up her area of contention. Since Sage has holded her ground even after being tagged from the Sova drone and not being pushed back by the attackers, this allows G Phoenix to still keep two people at B, still keep Viper and Jet at B because they know it's not an A attack until Sage is pushed back from this angle. Yeah, good repositioning from Viper as well here. Another thing that I would like to mention here is the presence of mind that Sage shows here. Uh, she knew the fight is going on at B. The attackers have committed on B. Viper and Jet were fighting. Sage, while rotating, had the presence of mind to still watch kitchen and still come into the side to support the teammates. If I rewind back, you'll see how much aware Sage is here. We'll just look back. Just look at the rotation from Sage and look at how much aware she is. Yeah, she looks back once, twice, even like thrice here, just to be sure that she is not getting flanked, and still and she had it in her mind to support the B guys. So she immediately, as soon as she covered this area, she immediately came in, leaving any lurkers behind who could not kill her. So this was really a good presence of mind from Sage, uh, here as well as here. So both the decisions were really good. Yeah, all in all, a good round. There. Props to Viper also. The amount of pressure that she could keep here at B main and still manages to reposition here when the attack was coming in. That has to be credited to her. So let's just move on to the second round. Uh, it's it's a 3-1-1 setup on the defensive side. It's an anti-eco. KJ alone on B. She needs to be very careful to not get flooded in by classics. Good initial first kill. She gets low, and this is where she needs to reposition. She does not have any support here. She does reposition here, but this, in my opinion, is not a good position to reposition. Especially when you do not have your teammates around to cover you on CT, on backside, or or someone here. So So a better repositioning could be here or here, especially when your middle is covered, so that so as to avoid a lot of util as well as people flooding in and clearing out this backside and this cubby position. So basically, this should be a done and dusted round. I do not really like Jet pushing more and more and more here. They are already up in numbers. They already know that it's going to be a B attack, and they already have four people stacked towards B. And this is because of the fact that Jet has this map control. This map control. So this is the map control that Jet has because of her positioning. And honestly, there's no reason for Jet to go for the kills here. She should just play selfless, and because of her, these four people can stack me, and they these four should be enough to close this round out. The only way this round can open up for the attacker side is Jet pushing and dying. She should probably just guard this area, guard this part of the map that she has the control of, because of which these four people are stacked on B. She should just simply play base, play here, where she can get the earliest information if they are coming back, and they can reset the defense. But instead, what happens is, let's see what happens. And this is where the Jet arrow comes in play. She goes in for the kills. She had to be selfless here. She had to be selfless here to let the other four shine. She had to play the area that she had and allow the other four people to kill and to shine. And instead, she went for the glory. She went for the kills, and this is where the map opens up. And see, if Jet stays here, Jet stays here. Any of these areas, she has control. The attackers, all the attackers, all four of the attackers are trapped. They're trapped in this small zone. They're trapped in this small zone, and they have nowhere to go. But as soon as Jet dies, the trap is opposite now. These four defenders are trapped now, because if these people are fast enough to understand that they have killed the flank, and if they manage to cut the rotation here, they have an open A side, and these four people will get trapped here. So yeah, a bad decision from Jet. Uh, let's see how the round pans out. Yeah, it's the same situation that I just mentioned. Due to the fact that A is clear now, the back guy died. They get an easy plant, and they had a chance to win this round if they had guns. They came very close with pistols also, but this was certainly a mistake from the G's side. So yeah, this round came very close. If maybe the attackers had guns, they could have won this round, but this was way too close, way too expensive for the defensive side. So let's just move on to another round. This is a buy round for both the teams. As I see, they are primarily playing a retake setup on A. Jet has a very good positioning here, very good control of the map, and based on this, they can do a lot of things. The defensive side can do a lot of things. Um, they are playing a retake-ish kind of setup on A. I do not like this. Viper on the attacker side has an ult, and ideally they should not be allowing Viper to take up the site and ult and play post NATO behind that. And especially when they have this control now, they should be getting inside the site now and not wait for like the attackers to first come into the site. So I think G Phoenix um, just missed a big opportunity here because of the decision that Jet makes here. She had this control. She had this control. The most important part is she has cut down the map again. It's a similar scenario of the last round that we discussed. She has cut down the major part of the area so that they cannot go B until unless they cross her vision. So once they have this control, it would have been a much better scenario if Sova and Viper could go in, but instead what happens is they lose this control now without anything without being pushed back from this area, and this may come on to haunt them later on. Built by Sage, and this is where I would love Viper also to come in, and these three players should fight for the side and not let Viper ult. They did try to fight, but as I said, it was a half-hearted fight. Viper really never came in. Viper really never came in when these two people were fighting, and this is what happens when the attackers have a Viper ult. You just cannot give up sides so easily because it becomes a hell to uh, retake that side in a Viper ult. So you just need to be very active to either fight the sides when the attackers come, or you just need to have a secondary plan. Say you just need to push middle and gather this part of the map so that you can stack the other part of other side. So yeah, this becomes a very difficult round now for the defense side. Um, let's see how this comes out. So yeah, as I mentioned, Jet had this control. The only two errors that G Phoenix made here was to not contest side because of the Viper ult. They they had to contest side in numbers. The second mistake they did was to leave this control that they gained initially, and this allowed a late flank as well as the Viper ult inside the side. These two mistakes cost them the round, and this could have been avoided very easily if Jet could have said that yeah, I have this control, you guys can move into the site, and KJ could have stayed here making a setup like this, one and three people inside A. Both the situations could have been avoided, the lurk as well as they could have fought inside A when the attack was coming. Let's just keep noting down these positives and negatives for us to review at the end of the VOD. Uh, so definitely one of the negatives that I've noticed till now is that they get into the they get into a good positioning. They get into good positionings on the map. They get good map control, but they give up the map control for no reason. And this has happened two times now in the initial four rounds. So this is something that they need to work on, keeping map control and the so let's focus on the second negative that I've noticed till now. Um, while playing on the defensive side, you need to watch out for the ultimates that the attackers have. If they have an ultimate that could be really fatal for you while retaking a side, you don't need to play retake on a side. You need to fight them up front. You need to face them on the side. You just would not want to give up the side in that scenario. Um, an ultimate like a Viper ult or a Sova ult that could be played off the post plant by the attacker side is could really be fatal for the defensive side. So you need to be very active as an IGL, and you need to call out the shot in those situations to play inside the site, or take up the fights initially to be aggressive. Either be aggressive in some part of the map, or just not give up the site when the attack is coming up. One of the positives that I've seen is the early setups that GE is using on the defensive side are really good, and they are getting good. Yeah. So let's just move on to the next round. We'll keep updating this list. Here again, the attackers have a KJ ult and a Sova ult. So since they have a KJ ult, I would love the defensive side to have a dynamic setup. Either if they want to play a retake setup from the start, then they need to be aggressive on some other part of the map, or they should be fighting the defaultish areas up front to not let KJ do a default ult. Good early kill becomes 5v4 becomes much easier now. Viper still keeping up the pressure. So one thing that I notice here, one thing that I notice here is that this mid smoke goes up and there's no KJ setup here for under tube or inside the kitchen. And since Sova is denied the information if someone has crossed under tube or inside the kitchen, he needs to transmit this information to the sole player that's playing B. And now is the time when Viper, as solo B player, has to decide which area to focus more on. Because this smoke up opens up a lot of rat holes in the defense. Viper could be lurking here, Viper could be lurking here, under tube, Viper could be staying here. You don't know. You don't know. And this is where the vulnerability on the defense can open up. I'm not sure if Sova communicated this to Viper or not, but certainly this can be very fatal. So in this situation, what can Viper do if Sova communicates this to Viper? She needs she has two areas to worry about: the second lane on B, middle middle lane, and the B main lane. So she needs to prioritize either one of these areas, this or this, and leave the other area. And I would suggest to keep this middle area, to give this middle area more priority than the B main area. So I would love to see Viper come here, top of the kitchen, watch under tube, and have some jig peaks here as well. As thought of, the KJ ult comes in, um, and this is where the defense loses a trick, and Viper makes a big mistake. Viper do make a big mistake by leaving B, because there's no plan till now, and she has four players to worry about A. Max she could do was to come here and watch under tube and middle for the teammates. So this is where the defense has to decide either to take a fast retake or have something of a deeper vision at mid, so that these guys cannot go back to B. Because if they remain in these position and do not take a fast retake or just wait for the plan to happen, they will remain in a blind spot. Because as the time passes, this will be a blind spot for the defense. If it's A, if it's a B, and they're just playing a retake on both the sides of the map. Let's look at how the round panned. As you can see, this is a very difficult situation. This is a situation where the defense is totally undecisive. They are not deciding to take back A as a unit. They all are here. They all are here. Still, they are not deciding to take back A as a unit. They are unaware about middle. The smoke up goes up. The smoke goes up, and now they are in a situation where it's very difficult for them to understand what's going on in the map. And due to this blind spot, they have to restructure and be very careful of the lurks. So as we see, so what drone is clearing this kitchen area, and they have to be very uh, cautious the about whole of the map. And now they're playing retake on both the sides, and this is where they lost it. They lost this round. Not saying they cannot take a retake, but it's not needed. It was not needed to play retake. They had been active previously in the if they had been active previously in this round, it would not come down to playing retake. Yeah, that's a world coming into play post plant. Let's move on to this round. It's a bye for both the teams. Uh, good 2-1 to start on both the sides of the map. Not a very good turret, I would say. Not so sure why KJ went in alone to fight without the Viper wall being up, without any teammates nearby to support her. And Because she did not have any pressure from the elbow area. She had a alarm bot in the elbow area as well. So I think she should have played backside, waited for her opportunity to give damage, get one kill, or waited for her teammates like Viper to come here and then peek together from above rafters and below rafters on on this wall being up. At this point, I think the opportunity to win the round is gone, and I think these weapons are very important. They should immediately think about saving these weapons. The round is gone. The round is gone, I think, and these guys should not be trying anymore. I know they have a stage res, but it's a very difficult situation because they do not have time on this side. They do not have numbers on this side. There are KJ orbs into play. Yeah, the saving opportunity is also gone now. Coming on to this round, again there's a KJ ult for the opponents, and I would love to see active setup from the defensive side, either taking fights here, controlling this area, or controlling this area, and then deciding later on to play retake or fast retake or controlling any other part of the map. Let's see how this round pans out. Yeah, so KJL pops out, good kill from Muffin, but other teammates decide have already decided to go out of here and play a retake. So this is again a very defensive setup. They need to look out for more options when the opponent has a KJ ult. Mm, so again, either take a fast retake when you are here in numbers, or take up any other part of the map so that they cannot come up here at they cannot fake you and come to the other side without being noticed. You can see they are struggling to think and are confined to a very small area together in which they cannot stand like a team. Right? Instead, they can find other solutions to cover map here, uh, or maybe opt to take a fast retake as soon as the KJ finishes. At this point, they need to take a fast retake, and they do not opt for any of the choices that could have won them the round. They do not control this. They do not go in for a fast retake, and this is where the round probably ends for them. And there's something that can be improved in future. So this round again a very gamblish setup by the defensive side, probably feeling the pressure of the scoreline, being 3-8 down. They decide to stack up A as four man and leave B, and this is where, as I suggested, no vision at the start of the round on both the defaults of the area of the map, uh, can make you pay. If even one guy who's lurking in this area takes up one of the side. Yeah, so as you can see, Viper looks in here and she gets the control of B side. There was no pressure from the defense here at the start of the round. There was no vision. So having a vision here is very important at the start of the round. You just can't start. You just cannot start playing a retake-ish setup from backside or behind, like above side, above window, and this is where Viper gets the control of B, calls her teammates back to B, and the round is pretty much over, I guess, for the defensive side. Yeah. Even KJ makes a wrong decision when the Jet dies here. She completely leaves B and tries to over rotate towards A. Um, Even if they were flooding in A, they had the defense had three members here. KJ should have either watched mid, watched B, watched B from CT, at least had the vision of this. A more composed, and he could have remained more composed and relied on her three teammates to 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 handle A attack, uh, and should not have left B so early in the round. Let's move on to the first buy round. It's a bonus buy kind of round for G Phoenix, and we're gonna see a mid play. I think it's a good, well practiced strat for them. Yeah, it's a strat for them. Nice kill. Nice two kills by the Jet. This should be round. Very nice two entry kills by Jet, and I think this is a well practiced strat by G Phoenix. To split B, and it's a good round to call. It's a good round to be calling this strat for because they are on bonus and the opponent team is fully bought up, and this can get them caught off guard. And this is what happens with KJ as well as Sova. Nice kill by Sova. In this situation, whoever is idling, whoever is calling the shots, has taken a very good decision. It's totally based on the understanding of the map and the numbers across the map for the defense. They they knew that Viper was on B. They knew Jet was somewhere here, Sage was somewhere in Tube, and this is where they can use the numbers advantage to the max. Probably Sova can play a more defensive role here now after getting Viper's kill. They decide to go A because they can overpower Jet with the 2v1 situation on A, and Sova can simply play time, or he can mm, maybe keep Sage pulled over at B, and that would make it easier for Sage and Jet to to take up A. Very nice mid round call. Um, this aggression by Sova was not needed. He could have just played a lurk here. He could have just mm, maybe just created a distraction over B and could have stayed alive, could have joined up the team for the post plan later on. This is a round that they could have won very easily if this decision and probably this decision by KJ to go into a one and done situation was not there. But yeah, KJ's decision can be uh, like can be understood because they were in a flow to execute onto B. But here, if Sova had kept more composure and just stayed alive and created a distraction, that would have been enough. He could have joined up and played a 3v2 post plant situation. This situation, this is around that could have been won easily, which turned around. But yeah, good execute from Phoenix. Let's move on to the next round. It's a buy round for both the teams. It's a very important round for both the teams. GE decides to take a default on A. KJ and Viper marking their back. So Jet is pushed up middle. Yeah. So there was a situation in the defense side of GE, the exact situation where Jet had this control, and as the attack was coming on A, she decided to go towards A and leave the middle control. And this is a big difference in GOC's gameplay. They let Jet have this control of the middle and decided to go in, and the rest of the team decided to go in. Viper is still keeping control of B, and this is a very good thing. Now they know that these people who are inside A are trapped until they cross Jet's path. So they have to come A, and if they can stack side before the attack comes in, it would be the best scenario for the defense side. Bad by KJ. This is where I have to credit the G side, whoever is calling the shots, or if they have practiced this in STEM. They knew they were boxed in. They went back to clear this area, to clear the back push first, and then recycle the round again to decide where to go. Because if they decided to push here, it would have been a death sentence for them. Because they were stacked already, three on side because of the jet push. They were all, G side was already low on numbers, and it would have been a very difficult situation for them to win the round. So for them to take this decision to clear the back push and then recycle the round is a very good decision. Again, Viper lost this control without any reason, and now she's playing on a retake kind of a setup. This can come on to haunt them. Often plays a very good lurk here in the middle, being the last man, and she needs to be playing that lurk role very actively because they're down in numbers, and she successfully does that. See G being very disciplined here in the post plant situations. They're all they all backed off after planting. He had a very good luck. Muffin had a very good luck. Unfortunately, she got hit by a single sheriff shot, but a very disciplined, very good round by G. We go on to this very crucial round at 6:11. We see the attackers taking B default and KJ controlling the A push here. I really like this part of the default. They are using this wall to take yellow at first and then still not committing to the site, and they are probably thinking to commit to the site on the second time when the toxins are back for the Viper. KJ initially watching the A push comes back to lurk actively on middle, and that is something that I've noticed in the attacker side of GE, that their last man always becomes the lurk. Based on the situations, the lurker becomes active, or the lurker remains passive. It totally depends on the situation, and it's a very good thing. Really love the discipline here from GE to be just holding the area and then hitting the site on the second wave of Viper ult. Plant, KJ being active, get detected by the alarm bot. Rest of the team is playing off the spike now. Everyone gets back, plays together, and this is a very crucial kill. Being under pressure from everywhere, KJ was known after the alarm bot went off that she's here and she couldn't cross because Viper did not have the toxins to do the smoke up for her. She manages to kill this jet here, and this opens up the round. Synergy can be seen clearly on the attacker side in the post plant situations. The team is trying to close out the rounds as a team, and no one individually is taking those 1v1s. This round, the attacker side have KJ and Sage ult, and they decide to go as a 5 men onto the A side. And this is a very good decision based on the KJ ult, based on the back of KJ ult and Sage ult as well. It gives them more firepower to fight A, and basically gives them the option to clear site without even entering the site. Becomes a 4v5. It gets res here. Becomes a 5v5 situation. Again becomes a 4v5 situation. plant goes in. I would have loved the team to stay inside. Maybe just KJ could have gone back, placing her nanos on the spike. Since they are down in situation, I would prefer them to play inside. They play inside the side to maintain high line pressure to get those multi kill opportunities and not to release the pressure being a man down. Um, we've seen in previous rounds them playing out when they have planted the spike and playing as a team, defending the spike. But all those situations were different because they were not man down, and either they were equal in numbers or they were up in numbers, and that made it possible to close the round in those situations. In this current situation, it would be a much better idea for them to maybe play three men inside side and not let that retake happen, and then KJ can play off the time and the nanos later on. Ultimately, Sage decides to play in, and it pays off for her. She gets three kills. Even Sova was trying to play in. I would have wanted Viper to also play inside the side as soon as they planted and knew that they would man down. Just imagine if the three players played inside in a crossfire based switch scenario, it would not have even come to a situation where um, it would not have come to a situation of a 2v2, and then you would still have the KJ to play post plant. G managed to win this round, but they could have played this round in a much better way. They still did a good job, uh, but could have been better. So again, we see a basic setup, playing very disciplined, as they know defenders would be very low on money. KJ and Viper are doing their job very well, playing very deep in their bases, while the other three takes default on A. So after getting two kills and becoming 4v3 up in this situation, they knew that there were more members in this side, and they remained very disciplined. They did not commit to the side, and this is where the difference was in, like, this is where they won their attack side. They maintained their composure and played the percentages whenever they were up in numbers. They did not commit to the side after getting killed immediately. And look how KJ is playing very disciplined here. KJ, in earlier rounds you must have seen her push here, a push under tube, but this time KJ is playing very passive lurk, very defensive lurk, because they are already up in numbers and she does not need to do active lurk here. Was an unfortunate situation, but since they played their percentages well, they went on to the weaker side where there was no defender and came out winners in this round. again we are gonna see a mid setup, and I must say that the calls on the attack side are super good. They're playing off the Viper ult here in this round. The usage and the calls behind the ult, behind the ults that they have is very, very good. There's discipline in each and every member of the team. They're closing out rounds pretty comfortably due to their discipline. Very good. If we can see, it's a very, very, very good early round setup against an anti-eco. These players are trying to take A default, and KJ is playing base, simply playing Grat and not giving them any opportunity to push him down and kill and get a gun. This is an anti-eco round, and she is like guarding the back of these four players. She is the leverage of these four players going to take A main. Gets rewarded for her patience and two kills. So I would love to see if these three people can push Sage down as soon as the back guy dies. Otherwise, they are gonna get sandwiched, even though they are up 3v2. But it would be a much better decision for the team as a whole to push Sage down and kill her, and then play a 3v1 against this Sova instead of just holding the side down and watching the front as well as the back areas. Watching these three areas, I think they can outnumber Sage together once they know that the back is uh, not safe. They can outnumber Sage and kill her, and then take up the post plant situation as 3v1, or even if it comes to a 2v1 later on against Sova. These kind of reactions are very important. That is in my opinion that these kind of reactions are very important. Exactly what I was trying to say. Sova gets this one kill, Sage gets this one kill, and it becomes a 2v1 situation in favor of the defenders. Uh, Instead, as soon as KJ died, if these three could push and take that 3v1 fight, overwhelm Sage with the sheer number that they had, even the firepower they had, this round could have been over much before. But props to Sage here, props to Meow 16k, the way she plays this round, the way she isolates the angles and then plays the time to win this round for the team. It totally shows how important this experience part is in the game. Takes this fight, she plays time against Sova, repositions and plays time, and credit goes to her and her presence of mind to clutch this round. This is such an important round in the context of the game. Both the teams have KJ ults. Both the teams will have Sova ults. Team of Global Explosive decides to go 5 man on B, probably with the KJ ult. Goes down 4v5. They find they have a Sage res. So here Sova uses her ultimate as soon as the res goes up, and this gives the opportunity for attackers to do the KJ ult now, since they cannot break it. The only way they can counter the KJ ult is by their own KJ ult. But Sova will probably take the orb and he will also have the ult. Again, a very disciplined approach by GE, waiting for the toxins to load up and waiting for the team to settle up in this situation and then go together as a team. And in counter of that, the defensive KJ ult comes in. So yeah, uh, Sova could not get the orb, although it would have been much better if Sova could have taken this orb and he could have got the ult as well. But I think they missed. They did not notice this, or Sova did not call for it. But this is such a huge round, and this is so very well played by GE that any team watching this round could be proud of it. Just look at what they do. Look at what they do in this situation. Against the defenders, Killjoy ult, they decide to do the plant and get detained. Two of their team members get detained. Sova, who planted, could not get back in the safety zone, but the rest of the team who were not detained came to support Sova. And then Sova had his ult to play the post plant round. So props to G and the players to be having that presence of mind that they can plant even during the KJ ult and then play off it. At the same time, you can see KJ being a very active lurker here. I think all these decisions uh, contributed for G's win in this round. They they played as a team. They had a clear plan. They played as a team. They after the plant they played when the defense was coming to retake. They fought with them as a team and traded off the kills and ultimately came up in the round as 3v1. So we come on to the last round of the game, and even in this round, we'll see a lot of good stuff from GE. Staying disciplined, Muffin gets the kill, stays disciplined, the whole team stays disciplined. They do not commit to get further areas immediately after the kill. They do not commit to get more kills. See, Even now in a 5v3 situation, they are not committing to a side, to the side. They have the time to play, and they have the numbers to play with. So it's it's such a nice view to see that the team is not committing immediately after getting a kill. And this is very rare in what should I say? This is very rare in South Asian Valorant. This is very rare in South Asian Valorant that if a duelist gets one kill or two kills, uh, the duelist usually goes on to get more kills, like immediately tries to get more kills instead of slowing down the game. And this is something that is very impressive with GE. And this was across the whole attack side. Muffin Loop got a lot of initial kills and still maintained her composure to not commit to further fights and played on those advantages. Built the team built on those advantages. And look at the magic. Look at the magic. As soon as as soon as they are 5v3 up, they understand that they've pulled the rotation towards B. They've pulled the rotation towards B. KJ simply cuts the rotation of B guys, and they are gonna go on the weaker side together. It will literally be a 4v1 situation on A, and KJ can cut middle the rotation of two guys that are on B. Yeah, this patience and composure by the whole team, by the duelists, by the team, lurking from KJ, being active, being passive on the map, uh, playing post plants uh, as a team, totally won them this game on the attacker side. They were not so good on the defensive side, but on the attacker side, they were very impressive. And yeah, we can note down some of the positives on the attack sides. Like apart from this, I think there were individual positives and negatives as well. Muffin Loop was really good on her aim. Um, Meow's decisions were on point. Rose, being the controller, played really well. Did a lot of good repositionings. Uh, Although she still needs to learn playing as the last man in the defense. She left B a lot of times. Even KJ left B a lot of times in defense without the without it being a very needful thing. Their their decisions on the defense side, their control on the defense side, they could get the control, but they did not restructure the defense on the basis of their control on the defense side. That could be improved. Their decisions as a team to to take a fast retake can be improved. The situations where they get into blind spot, where they have their defense is in a situation where they have to retake both the sides. They are structured in a way where they will have to retake on both the sides. They can be much more active in those situations. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um, this was my first analysis on YouTube of a Valorant game. I'll also keep improving with time. Keep those suggestions coming in for me for the games and the analysis part. Anything you would like to add, suggest? Um, I am open to criticism as well. So, yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in.